It was one of those crisp mornings by the lake, the kind that makes you take a deep breath and enjoy the silence before the world wakes up. I was up early, as usual, to check on my boat and make sure everything was tied up tight. My dock lines were just where they should be, stretched out along the weathered posts, each knot secure. But as I reached for the ropes, I noticed something was off. There, standing by the dock, was a woman in a bright neon vest, scribbling something in a notebook. I didn't recognize her, which wasn't all that unusual, given that new people were always moving into the development nearby. But this woman was different. She had that I'm in charge look, a sort of no-nonsense attitude that didn't sit right with me. She didn't notice me at first, so I took the opportunity to slip behind a stack of fishing gear and watch her. She was tugging on my dock lines, not just adjusting them, but moving them. I knew the rules. The lines had to stay in specific places, and no one was allowed to move them without permission. This was my spot. My place. I'd rented that dock space for years, paid my fees on time, and followed the rules. I was auntie going to let some stranger come in and make changes because she thought she knew better. I stepped out from behind the gear and cleared my throat. "Excuse me," I called out. She jumped, a little startled, but quickly regained her composure. She turned around and smiled at me, though the smile didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, I'm just adjusting your lines. I've been asked to move them to better optimize space for the marina. These lines are too loose, and this dock is getting crowded." I walked over to my boat, my eyes narrowing. "Those lines are just fine. I've had them like that for years. You're not supposed to move them without asking me first." She didn't seem fazed. "Well, I'm with the marina, and we've been going through some updates. You can't leave them like this anymore. We need the space for the new boats coming in." I could feel my blood pressure rising. Something about her tone rubbed me the wrong way. She acted like she had more authority than she actually did, and that was something I wasn't going to tolerate. "I'm sorry," I said, forcing calm into my voice, "but I rent this dock space, and I've followed the rules. I don't know who you are, but you need to get off my boat and leave my dock lines alone." She shrugged, clearly not impressed. "I'm just doing my job. If you have a problem, you can speak to the marina office." I wasn't going to let it go. I wasn't about to stand there and let some stranger mess with my setup just because she thought she could. Will and I'll make sure they know exactly who has been moving my dock lines without permission." She didn't say anything else. She just turned, muttering something under her breath, and walked off. I stood there for a moment, watching her go, but the frustration was still bubbling up inside me. I could feel it. I had to go to the marina office and make sure this didn't happen again. I made my way over to the marina office, a small building tucked behind the docks, its windows framed by ivy and hanging plants. The marina manager, Sam, was sitting at the front desk when I walked in. He looked up, smiled, and waved me over. Sam had been around longer than most of us, and he knew how things worked. I explained what had happened, how the woman had moved my dock lines without asking, and how I wasn't going to let that slide. Sam listened carefully, then leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful look on his face. "That sounds like Karen from the HOA group," he said. "She's been going around trying to improve the marina spaces, thinking she's got the right to make decisions for everyone. We've had more than a few complaints about her." My stomach tightened. "She said she was with the marina. Are you telling me she's not?" Sam shook his head. "Nope. She's not part of the marina staff. She's just been given a little too much freedom by the HOA. But I'll tell you this, she's got no right to be moving dock lines or telling people where they can park their boats. That's not how we operate here." I was relieved, but I wasn't done yet. "Well, I want this taken care of. I've been paying for my dock space for years, and I won't have anyone messing with it. If she shows up again, I want her to be told that she doesn't have the authority to do that." Sam nodded, his expression turning serious. "You're right, and I'll make sure she knows that. Don't worry, I'll handle it." A few days later, I was back at the marina, checking on my boat, when I saw her again. Karen was standing by the dock, clipboard in hand, as usual. This time, though, she wasn't touching my dock lines. I waited a few moments, then walked over to her, my hands in my pockets. "Karen," I said, my voice firm but not unkind, I spoke to Sam at the Marina office. He said, "You don't have the authority to be moving dock lines. I don't appreciate what you tried to do the other day." She looked flustered for a moment, but quickly regained her composure. "Well, I was just trying to help out. The Marina's overcrowded, and I thought I don't care what you thought," I interrupted. "You can't just come onto my property and start making changes without permission. That's not how it works here." Her face reddened. "I was only trying to make things better," she said defensively. I shook my head. "No, you weren't. You were trying to push your own agenda without considering the people who actually rent the spaces. That's not going to fly with me. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to my boat." I turned to walk away, but then I heard her speak. "I understand. I won't do it again." I won't do it again. I didn't look back. I could tell by her tone that she wasn't happy, but she knew she had lost this battle. As I untied my boat and pushed off from the dock, I felt a sense of satisfaction. The situation had been resolved, and I had stood my ground. As I cruised out onto the lake, I felt the gentle rocking of the boat beneath me, the cool breeze in my hair. It was a good reminder that sometimes standing up for what is yours isn't just about the fighting. It's about knowing the rules, having the right people behind you, and making sure things are done the right way.